Hello there, lords and ladies of the internet. I'm the King of Candor, and today I'm going to be talking about the flaws in the Dinotopia setting. Be sure to stick around for the end of the video when I suggest some easy fixes for author James Gurney to make the series better. First, this is a follow-up to my other Dinotopia video, linked here. If you're wondering why I'm not talking about the positive parts of that setting, I go over all of them there. Secondly, these are not my opinions, these are straight up facts, and if you disagree with me, meet me after school at the jungle gym outside Miss Frizzle's classroom. So what is Dinotopia? For those of you who don't want to give me more watch time and click the other video, Dinotopia is a setting designed by James Gurney. It is a fictional utopia setting where the dinosaurs never went extinct and evolved to be just as intelligent as humans. It takes place sort of in our world. People from our world can travel to Dinotopia, but as of yet, nobody has returned except for the Egyptian god Thoth, but that's another story. Here, humans and dinosaurs exist peacefully and have their own unique culture. We mostly explore the setting through a series of scientific journals written by Arthur Dennison and his son Will, the two most recent arrivals in Dinotopia. First and foremost, I want to talk about the weird ways that carnivores are used in the setting. They're kind of antagonists, but not really. They show up a little bit in the first book, but it's really in the second book with their attacking of the caravan do they gain their villain status. They aggressively ambush in one of the caravans, moving through their territory, trying to either steal food off of it or eat some of the people. It's not entirely clear, but it's fine because if they were animals, then they're just trying to eat. But it's revealed that they are just as smart as the dinosaurs. To complicate things, they might just be guarding their local temple that the caravan is passing by, fearing it's going to attack them. An even further complication is, when one of the predators is saved by Will and Arthur, his father, Stinktooth, vouches for them enough to let them enter the temple, which is strange. This means the predators are smart enough to talk but still eat people? Are there no non-sentient creatures they could snack on? And if they're choosing to do this, that would be willingly being evil. And if there isn't dumber animals to eat, how have they not starved to death already? And why is it so easy to befriend one of them? All these questions are not answered and made more complicated in later books, with the role of carnivores being more mixed. The setting also has an issue with stakes, being able to properly set them and having consequences because there's a big lack of them. There's not really any death in the entire thing, barring the mass casualty event that is the shipwreck at the start, and because Dinotopia is supposed to be a utopia, we don't really see much conflict. Lee Crab, who is the villain in most of the stories, is more like a Saturday morning cartoon villain than an actual threat. I know the setting was originally designed for children, but you could still have a handful of issues going on. I know these harsher or more impactful conflicts, though, have to be skipped because it's supposed to be a utopia. This isn't really an issue in the first book, as it's more of an exploration of the setting, but future novels are noticeably lacking in stakes. Unfortunately, this means that the best stories can only be told in the past, since they have achieved utopia here. That's why Book 3 has one of the better storylines, with its following an ancient hero and his quest to stop an evil empire. This is objectively the most boring time period in all of the long history of Dinotopia. Worse than no stakes, though, are the strange parts about the setting. And I don't mean things that are just non-conventional. I mean things that detract from the core conceit of dinosaurs and humans living together. Such as during the events of the second book and throughout the entirety of the third book, we find out about these robot dinosaurs. It's not just the dinosaurs, but there are a variety of creatures that are mechanical as well, including floating heads. This is due to the Atlantis knockoff, Posidios. The third book goes into a lot of detail about them, as that's the evil empire they overthrow, and we see they have highly advanced robots that can fly and basically act as modern-day drones. The people of this island have enslaved dinosaurs to make more robots, and are planning to attack the mainland to finish the rest of the dinosaurs off. They are going to do this by using a flying robot scorpion after capturing the magical sunstone, Sunstones are these rocks that basically act as electricity generators. Don't worry about it. The hero of this tale, Gideon Altair, has to learn to fly a dinosaur in order to defeat the robot Scorpion. In a setting that has this unique concept with dinosaurs and humanity coexisting, introducing a robot faction for conflict seems strange. Considering most of this comes about in later books, we also have the question as to why none of the technology is being used by the mainlanders here in the future. I understand that eventually Placidios sunk into the sea, but this entire time, not a single technological advancement has happened. On top of that, this just takes us even further away to the selling point of the setting, especially because in the fourth book, we don't even hear about robots anymore. Another one of the strange plot points in Dinotopia are the human-dinosaur hybrids. The technical term for them would be Demosaurian, but the books refer to them as Antherocetops, since they are a combination of Triceratops and humans mostly, as you can see on screen. And there has been some media that retcon this as humans wearing armor that looks like dinosaurs, but the 4 mainline books refer to them as human-dinosaur hybrids, so I'm assuming that it's still prime canon until otherwise noted. The dinosaur-human hybrids are a weird addition to this setting. They exist in the long past, when they did not have the technology to, let's say, manufacture a baby. And this is not a specific evolution of a dinosaur. It's called a human-dinosaur hybrid. That means it's supposed to be both human and dinosaur mixed together. In my opinion, it's the worst sin in the entire series. It really sets off a lot of imbalances that you get from this idea that dinosaurs and humans work together. It's strange to have a DNA combination. And then what's even stranger is to have it going on so far in the past that they all died out, so we cannot get a clear answer what's going on. This also doesn't actually add anything to the story. We don't ever see any plots come about for the hybrids. There's nobody who's a hybrid struggling with their identity, for example, and there's nobody who mistakenly reveres these figures. There's a little bit of weirdness in the setting with human-dinosaur relationships, since they were called sorrow partners. The best way I can describe it is a non-sexual marriage, or like a marrying your friend type situation. Since it was between a human and a non-human, usually a dinosaur, but there are other prehistoric creatures in this setting as well, it's just strange. Since they are both sentient and have normal levels of intelligence, you'd expect these emotional relationships to crop up. But their sexuality, or lack thereof, is a strange one to hit on. Real quick, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. And if you want to join the Discord, it's linked below. Finally, the most unfortunate issue with these books is they're kind of out of date and useless now. They are very cool pieces of world building, but a lot of the dinosaurs inside of it completely changed in the last 30 years since they started releasing. Unfortunately, we have these feathered dinosaurs now, and all of his carefully crafted work is wrong for James. James Gurney himself has said this is one of the reasons that he hasn't made any more books. He would have to pick between being scientifically accurate and true to the world, which he never did do beforehand. He always used to rely on it being scientifically accurate as possible, so these could serve as education devices to those reading them. So how do we fix these things? Assuming we don't do a full reset, we follow through on those shows that I mentioned, making the human-dinosaur hybrids canonically people wearing dinosaur armor. This removes the biggest weird part quickly and helps us focus on what matters. We also ignore the robots. They are currently underground and deactivated, and they can stay there, which effectively removes them. We already have so many cool dinosaurs. Why worry about robots too? So, for the books being out of date, this is more of a personal hang-up James Gurney will have to overcome. He tried a bit with the fourth book, Chandara, but looking at the continued success of the awful Jurassic Park sequels, people are fine with inaccurate dinosaurs. Which of the sequels are the bad ones, you ask? Well, the ones that you think are bad, because I agree with you. Be sure to like and subscribe, because I agree with you. Now for the other fixes. The lack of stakes and the strange nature of carnivores need to be addressed. These could both be fixed by focusing on the next series dealing with the carnivores. I would personally pull on the thread of the religion of the carnivores, like that temple they were guarding, Maybe they believe in a sort of sacrifice cult like the Aztecs, or they have a might makes right type mentality. Either way, this will set them up as fantastic ideological foes as well as physical threats. The new storyline should focus on increased aggression from the carnivores, establishing a new threat among them who wishes to topple Dinotopia and make the leaf eaters easier to hunt. Our heroes get word from some of the outlying villages that they have seen increased carnivores and some butchered animals in the wild. These will be confirmed as non-intelligent, such as deer and cows. These outlying places are then evacuated without many issues. Maybe some people are shadowed by carnivores or some equipment has been smashed. There's no need to add much violence to the stories. These are still for kids after all. During one of the evacuations, though, our heroes are attacked by a couple carnivores, and they barely escape. Either through trickery or disabling the beast or beasts, through a net or some idea. Either way, they get away with minor injuries. At this point, they understand the threat and start working towards returning home to build defenses in Waterfall City. The city is overcrowded and people are growing concerned because a handful of the scouts and others have not returned yet. Eventually, the carnivores show up at the almost finished walls and other defenses and begin demanding a fight. During these parleys, Stinktooth, the Gigantosaurus from the second book, who vouched for the heroes after saving his son, will speak up and suggest that Will and Arthur join them, since they are good people and clearly eat meat. Will, Arthur, and friends go to meet him and disagree with Stinktooth about why it is wrong for him to be so aggressive. He will then inform them that the carnivores are being so aggressive because of their leader, let's call him Red Maw, and the lack of food. Lately, the traditional hunting grounds for the carnivores have been drying up. With the path to Shandara being reopened in Book 4, the animals have changed their migration patterns and routes, avoiding the carnivores, which is leading them to starvation. Will and Arthur realize they can have a fix for this, by offering instead to fight the carnivores to integrate them into Dinotopia. They can then raise animals like cows and other dumb creatures as a source of food. Stinktooth considers their offer and then agrees to it. He then brings it to the other carnivores, who mostly think it'll be a good idea, except Red Maw. He's angry about being undercut and challenges Stinktooth to a fight. Lee Crab, the human who keeps trying to destroy Dinotopia and the villain from earlier, overhears this. Stinktooth agrees to fight Red Maw in front of Dinotopia tomorrow morning. That night, Lee Crab sneaks into the carnivores camp and speaks to Red Maw. He tells Red Maw that he wants to help him destroy Dinotopia because Lee Crab is convinced that when it's destroyed, he can return home. Red Maw agrees and they team up. Lee plans to fire one of the trebuchets they have on the walls at Stinktooth during the fight, giving Red Maw the reason he needs for the carnivores to start attacking. The next day, Will and Arthur return to Dinotopia to get the council to approve the alliance for carnivores, and during this they see Lee Crab sneaking towards the walls. So they split up. We now have 3 plots going on. Arthur's going to convince the council, Will is going to stop Lee Crab, and Stinktooth ready to fight Red Maw. Assign a few of the secondary characters to the main heroes as backup, and boom, we got a book. I won't finish the story. This is enough of a setup that James Gurney could take it from here and work on it. So yeah, those are the major problems with Dinotopia and how to fix them in one book. That is all for today. Thank you for watching this far. If you enjoyed the content, I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I'm looking forward to your candor and your comments below, and have a great day. Sorry with the lack of uploads lately. I have been getting my ass handed to me by work and life. I might have to set up a Patreon soon or stop doing this entirely. But if you want more information, join the Discord. Alright, love you guys. Bye.